Hi guys, I'm Charlie Book Fanatic. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do my January wrap up. In the month of January I read 11 books and I think this is going to be the last month I am going to be able to read so many books because I'm filming this in the middle of February. I think I've only finished 3 books this month, which is the lowest for me in the last, I think, 13 months. So I don't know, I think it's because of college. I started college in February, so I think it's going to be a while until I am able to read this many books again. But it's fine, it's fine. So let's talk about the books I have managed to read in January. This video is also a day late because honestly, with college being so busy, I really hadn't anticipated college being this busy for me. But it's going really well. It's just I haven't been able to film, so it's a day later, but hey, at least it's a day. It's not like I missed a week or something. The first book I read in January was Parasite by Duggan. This is the first book in Duggan's newest, a contemporary trilogy, Heart of the City. I normally love Duggan's books, but I honestly really didn't care for this first book in the trilogy. This follows a woman who goes on a trip to Paris with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend breaks up with her because he is in love with their neighbor. And she is stuck in Paris. She is in this hotel. She decides to start working there and try and build her life there. But then a rich restaurant owner comes into the hotel. He is snobby and arrogant, and eventually she falls in love with him and romance ensues. Honestly, I didn't care for this. I loved her other series, the Summer series and the Paradise duology, but this book really didn't grab me like the other ones did, and I have read the second book in the series in February already, and I can say I didn't really like that one either. The second book I read was Good Morning Midnight by Lily Dalton. This is Lily Dalton's debut novel. It's a standalone science fiction that follows 2 different characters. It follows an old man who was stuck in the Arctic Circle on his own with this little girl that was left behind when all of the people evacuated. It follows this woman on a spaceship. She and the crew are back from a trip through space back to Earth. It follows these 2 characters, and at first it's not clear what their connection exactly is, but eventually their connection was revealed and I was like, why didn't I see this sooner? I really enjoyed this debut novel. I really liked the way it was written. I rated this one 4 stars, and I would definitely check out something else by Lily Dalton if I came across any of her other books. Then I read City of Ashes, the second book in the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra, Clare. I think we all know what the Mortal Instruments is about. Honestly, I started reading City of Ashes because the second season of the show, Shadowhunters, was starting back up again, I believe in January. So I read City of Ashes, and again I was disappointed, just like I was with City of Bones. I really didn't want to continue on with the series after City of Bones and just watch the show. But I was like, why not read the second book, see if it gets any better? But honestly, I don't think I need to read the books to follow the show because they throw so many different things in from different books from the series. It's honestly a big chaos. They stray from the books a lot. So I don't think I'm going to continue on with the series. I'm not completely sure because so many people are raving about it, but the first 2 books have really disappointed me and weren't what I expected of them. The next book is By Your Side by Kasie West. This is a YA contemporary romance that came out at the end of January. I love Kasie West's writing, especially after reading P.S. I Like You, which was one of her best books in my opinion. And then I read her newest release, By Your Side. I got an e-arc of it, and again, she really surprised me with her writing. I am particularly enjoying her books right now, and I cannot wait for her newest release that I think is coming out in June of this year. By Your Side is about 2 teens that get stuck in a library together. They go to the same high school, but they're acquaintances. They don't really know each other, but they do get to know each other. And it was a lot of fun. A bit too dramatic for my tastes sometimes, but overall, I have to say this was just an enjoyable, fun read with a bit of depth to it. Then another new January release, Silver Stars, the second book in the Soldier Girl trilogy by Michael Grant. I loved the first book in this series, Frontlines, and then I got an e-arc of Silver Stars, and I loved this second book even more than I did the first book. I came to care for these 3 main characters, these 3 strong women, so much, and there was so much anticipation for this book, and it really did not let me down. I absolutely love this book. I love the action. It was even more exciting than the first book was, and I cannot wait for the conclusion to this series and see how all of these women end up eventually after the war. I also got to the last book in the Raven cycle, Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. I like this series. It wasn't the best series I've ever read. I've also did a full series spoiler-free review, which I will link down below. I like this series. I loved it for its characters, but the plot really let me down. It wasn't my thing. At the end of it all, I was like, is this how it ends? The ending just wasn't what I expected. I expected it to all be cleared up, but it really wasn't. So if you want to read the series, again, like I said in my review, read it for the characters, but do not read it for the plot, because I think you will be disappointed at the end of it all. Because I certainly was by the plot, but I would still read Maggie Stiefvater's Graudin trilogy, which he's writing, because Graudin was one of my favorite characters, and I would definitely give that a chance just for the character of Ronan. Then I read a totally random book, which is Coda, which is the first book in the Coda series by Trevayne. This is a book centered around a dystopian world. It has this government that encodes music, so music is a drug, and the government makes people addicted to music. They have to listen to music every single day, so every single person in this society is addicted to drugs, except for the kids. They get exposed to music only at a certain age. It is super interesting. I love the concept of this. I haven't ever heard of a society that makes people addicted to music. And it has this main character that has an underground band, and they make music that isn't encoded and is just for them. I thought this was such an original idea. I did only rate it 3 stars because honestly, I'm kind of done with the whole dystopian thing, and I'm not going to read the second book in this series because I feel like the ending of the first book was enough for me, but I really liked how there also was a deaf character in this. How it all came to be. I didn't particularly like the main character, but the main character was bisexual, so yay for the diversity in this. Another book I was extremely excited about in January was Blood for Blood, the second and final book in the Wolf by Wolf duology by Graudin. This is a alternate World War II retelling. It follows these people after the Second World War has ended and Hitler has won the war. The main character has to participate in this intercontinental motorcycle race that Hitler organizes, and she has to impersonate this other person to win this race, and the ultimate goal is to kill Hitler. The second book continued upon that premise, and again, the characters captured my heart. I loved the risks Graudin took with this book, and I came to care so much for these characters. This final installment made me cry so much, and I loved how it ended. It was super realistic. So if you want a realistic story that doesn't have a happily ever after but just hits you right in the feels, honestly, this is a duology you need to read. And the last book I want to talk about, I only read 10 books in January, not 11, is Sensibility by Jane Austen. This was the last full novel I had still to read by Jane Austen, and again, this one did not disappoint me. Jane Austen is a mastermind, like so many people I've discovered already, and I'm so happy I started reading her works in 2016. I'm only sad I didn't do it earlier, because she quickly became one of my favorite writers of all time. Sensibility is about 2 sisters called Marianne and Eleanor, and the romances they both pursue. Marianne is in love with a guy named Willoughby who leaves her devastated, and Eleanor is in love with a guy who doesn't turn out to be who she thought he was. And it's the bond between these sisters that makes this story so great, and it's something we don't see in any of Austen's other novels. I especially like the character of Marianne in this novel. She's mostly annoying to me because she is constantly being whiny about Willoughby, but I like her character because she's very outspoken for her time period, and she doesn't lie to people. She doesn't act polite if she doesn't want to. Like, it might seem stupid, but she doesn't pretend like she likes someone if she doesn't. She can't do that. And Eleanor is like her polar opposite. She does pretend to be polite to people she doesn't really like, and she keeps a lot of secrets. She keeps her feelings inside. And Marianne isn't like that at all, and that is where the title came from, because Eleanor is sense. She acts from her intelligence. It's more based on her own feelings, and I really like how the title correlates with the story. This is my wrap up for January. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books, what you think about them, or what did you read in January. I would love to know. Thank you for watching. Goodbye!